Hello on Facebook, and I'm just getting Instagram up. Wonderful, yay, we have Instagram popped up and Facebook popped up too. So I put a post up on Facebook and Instagram yesterday just asking if anyone had any questions, and I was completely overwhelmed by questions in a good way. I'm so glad that you guys have given me some ideas of topics that you're interested in and want to talk about. I thought today it could be kind of cool to start with a question that uses a model that I just got. I got the coolest new model. This is in a wonderful pelvic floor and anatomy model. So I thought we could start with a question today that was basically how can you feel your pelvic floor? Like where to start? So I want to answer that, and then I also want to answer another question. That first question was from Farida Jafar. And the second question is from Pemby1983 on Instagram. She says that she is 4.5 months postpartum and had a C-section. I started doing postpartum core work right away and felt great, but over time my upper and lower back plus lower abdominals feel weak and hurt. I'd love to understand how to engage my TVA, so her deep abdominals, better with gentle breathing, and how to incorporate pelvic floor exercises each day but not overdo it. So there's a ton to unpack in that question right there, but I thought honestly both of these questions would be really well answered by just basically giving some pelvic floor anatomy, because it's really, really important when you're getting started with these pelvic floor and deep core exercises that you know kind of what you're looking at. Like you can visualize it. To me, that really, really helps to be able to visualize. I'm a visual learner, so I like to see what's going on. And I think that having some understanding of exactly what the muscles look like can be really, really helpful. So that's what we're gonna do today. And all right, let's go ahead and grab out my little model. Okay, so this, I'm hoping that we can see it well on Facebook and Instagram, but this is my brand new pelvis model. And I had one before that was just the bony pelvis, but this one's really lovely because it has all sorts of goodies. It has the muscles, it has the organs, which I'll show you in a moment. But when you're getting started with pelvic floor exercises, with isolated pelvic floor exercises, which should always, so when I say isolated pelvic floor exercises, what I mean is a kegel, commonly known as a kegel, which is kind of a funny name because it's actually named after a man. And men can do kegels too, of course, but it's Dr. Arnold Kegel, and he did groundbreaking work a long time ago about pelvic floor strengthening, and he isolated the pelvic floor muscles into this exercise that was coined kegels. And we still call them that to this day, but maybe some people prefer the term pelvic floor muscle contraction. I say kegel because it's a lot shorter and a lot easier to say. So I'm talking about kegels today. And when you're doing pelvic floor exercises or kegels to help strengthen your pelvic floor, to help with your core strength, your stability, your balance, your bladder control, maybe you have prolapse. These are all reasons you might want to strengthen the pelvic floor and know how to contract, but also release these muscles. So when you're just getting started with a program like my Kegel Camp, I can't highly recommend this program enough, you guys. It's free on YouTube, or you can purchase a downloadable bundle, but it's a 30-day program that helps you learn how to activate these muscles that we're going to talk about right now in a very progressive, stepwise manner. It helps you learn how to activate and also release these muscles, which is so important. And I also loop in other core muscles as well, because you don't just want to work these muscles, you need to know how to work everything. You know, your glutes help balance out your pelvic floor contractions. Your deep abs are connected really right in with the pelvic floor because of the connective tissues that kind of go between this whole area. Even the breathing diaphragm is connected because, again, of these fascial connections and just the way the pressure systems work. It's all connected. And my Kegel Camp addresses all of that. So if you haven't checked out Kegel Camp, please do. I talk about feeling the pelvic floor, but I don't use this model because I didn't have it yet. So maybe having an idea of what exactly it looks like will be helpful for you. And I know we've all seen these pictures, but it's nice to actually see it in person. So what I'm going to show you is basically, hoping you can see this okay. So we have some deep, deep hip muscles. The obturator internus is actually a hip muscle, and that's right here and here. Again, you probably can't see it, but they're right on where my fingertips are. That's actually a deep hip muscle. Now this inner thing right here, this big broad muscle, the big main part that you can see, that's your levator ani, your pelvic floor muscles, which consists of some different, you can separate them out, but I'm just going to call it levator ani. And notice how it loops around some holes. So the hole in the back is your anus, and then there's this middle hole, which is your vagina, and then there's your urethra too. So they loop around these holes. Now I'm going to show you when all of the things are, oops, my ligaments almost came off. These are my sacrotuberous and my sacrospinous ligaments are back here too, which is kind of interesting stuff. Okay, so when all of your organs are in here, you can see how stuffed it is. We have the rectum. So this is your rectum, which is, can be full of stool when we are feeling like we have to go to the bathroom. So that goes in the back. So the vagina and the uterus is on the top of the vagina. So you can see the vagina and the uterus. The vagina is just, the extension of the uterus essentially. So that goes in the middle. Oh my gosh, my whole model's falling apart. This is the external pelvic floor muscles that just fell off. So the uterus goes in the middle, and then we have the bladder in front of that. So here's our bladder, and I'm going to stick that in there too. This is actually hard to get everything in, but you can see there is a lot going on in this pelvis now. So all that stuff is inside of our pelvis, and these muscles below have to support all of that. And the openings of the pelvic floor, so these are the more external pelvic floor muscles right here, and as you saw, they can actually fall off. So these are the more external muscles, and they can be divided into a front triangle. So this is the urogenital triangle, and it contains the clitoris is right in the very front. So we have our genitals, we have the clitoris, we have the urethra, which is the pee hole. We have the vagina right here, okay? Then we have, that's kind of the base of this urogenital triangle, and there's little muscles that you can actually feel. They're contracting when you're doing your kegel. You're feeling these muscles contract, and you're also feeling those deep inner muscles that I showed you. Well, I'll show you again. When we take out all of our organs, those muscles that are deep inside. So we've got these muscles deep inside, and also these muscles and the sphincters that are contracting as well, okay? So we have the urogenital triangle, and then we have the anal triangle as well. So this is sort of the triangle that goes around the anus. This right here in the middle is the perineum, or the perineal body. So this is an area that a lot of times when people are doing, you can actually feel with your fingers, you can feel this skin covered area. You can feel it gently lifting when you do a kegel contraction, when a pelvic floor contraction, you can feel that gently, tiny lift in and up. So it's that area between the vagina and the anus, okay? So we have the vagina and the anus, this area right here. I love having people put their finger there. You can have your underwear on, or you can have bare skin, whatever you want to do, but you can feel that area gently lifting up toward your head and then releasing back down when you're doing a kegel correctly. So some good cues to use when you're doing your kegels is to think about squeezing around the openings. So you can see all these openings, and we want to think about squeezing and lifting around all of these openings here. And again, you can see how these muscles, also the deeper layer, also goes around the openings, right? Now, studies have actually shown that the cue of really focusing more on squeezing your anus can really be a nice way to get a global contraction of the pelvic floor muscles. And I don't know, but I think that's probably because, you're getting such a big brunt of the pelvic floor muscles around your anus. Look at all those that's a lot going on there. So when you say squeeze your anus, you're getting all of these muscles just lifting, and then, these muscles too. But that is That's what's going on. So this is you guys, this is if you were lying down. I want to be really clear. This is a person standing up. This is a person lying down, like in an examination position. Okay? So does that help you to see what you're doing when you do a Kegel? Does it help you to see that? I mean, I know most of us sort of know this, but we don't necessarily really know kind of what those muscles look like, the triangles that we have going on, the way they kind of loop around. I don't know if you can see that on Instagram. I'll put it really close. The way they loop around. And on Facebook, I'll put it, oops, I always get confused. There we go. They loop around. And then the deep muscles too. How they loop around the openings as well. Okay? And also how intertwined they are with our hip muscles. And unfortunately, I can't take this out. I wish I could. But that would show how interconnected they are with the hip muscles. The glute muscles are right back here hooking onto everything. We've got the ab muscles, which basically are an extension straight up. The transversus abdominis, those deep core muscles, they're kind of like a corset that really hooks in right here where my fingertips are now. Not really giving you very good. I don't really know how to show it, but they're hooking in right here. So it's all very connected. So anyway, the first part of this question that I was answering today, which was Farida's question, Farida Jafar, how do you feel your pelvic floor? Well, I think the best way is to just kind of know what it looks like and kind of know all that's going on down there. There is a ton going on down there. So I hope that helps, and then definitely check out Kegel Camp. You can search for it on YouTube, or you can go to bit.ly/femkegelcamp, and that's FEMKEGELCAMP, and you can sign up to get the first 3 days delivered to you, and then you can just keep doing them on YouTube, or you can buy the downloadable bundle as well. So that's a good choice for how to begin feeling your pelvic floor. And then I wanted to answer Pembeat 1983.